Welcome back to What If Ash was in Pokemon Horizons, and today he'll be meeting Arven. What will happen when these two characters finally encounter each other? We'll find out right now. The trio has returned to Mesagoza for a day of relaxation. Brock decides to pay the Academy a visit, hoping to learn all he can about its medical research. Meanwhile, Liko decides to go do some shopping for some new clothes, leaving Ash to explore the city on his own. This is when he's approached by a man who introduces himself as Spinel, one of the Exceed Company's head researchers. He tells Ash Exceed is Paldea's main distributor of Tera orbs, being one of the few people who have access to the Paldean crater. He was hoping Ash would be able to help him out with some of his research, and he agrees. Spinel fights with his Umbreon, immediately terastallizing it. The battle is intense, but in the end, Ash gains the upper hand with ease. He's not the world champion for nothing. Spinel thanks Ash that getting a chance to battle him will greatly benefit his research, and then he leaves. Ash reconvenes with the others, and yet he can't shake off this weird feeling about Spinel. Meanwhile, Spinel returns to his lab at Exceed HQ, happy with all the data he's collected on Ash. On the way to Artisan, our group stops in a canyon region, as Brock tells them this is the area where the first Titan Pokemon resides. Ash is excited to see what Brock is made of against such a fierce opponent, but just then a shout is heard, as a young man rushes up to Brock, telling him that Titan Pokemon is his. He introduces himself as Arven, and tells the Pokemon doctor not to get in his way. From there, it's a race for the Titan, with our trio trying to find it. Meanwhile, Arven is becoming increasingly worried. Eventually, he stumbles upon the Titan Pokemon Cloth, sending out his Scovillain. He's losing badly, until Brock and his Felix come in to save the day. Ash and Liko also help out too, entering a raid battle against the Titan, eventually defeating it and gaining the Herba Mystica. Brock is about to take it, but Arven pleads for him to have it, sending out his sick and feeble Mabostiff. He tells Brock the only way to cure it is with the Herba Mystica, and that he's the only family he has left. Brock decides that from this point on, the two of them should work together to obtain the other herbs, and Arven agrees, shocked by Brock's kindness. From this point on, Brock separates from Ash and Liko, telling them to do their best. Next up, while Ash and Liko are still in the canyon region training, a wild Charcadet comes up to them, demanding a battle out of Ash. He accepts, with Charcadet losing badly. It tries to take the loss well, but ends up running away in embarrassment. Ash chases after it, finding the Pokemon training with other wild Pokemon watching on. Ash approaches the Pokemon, asking if it wants to get stronger, and together, Ash and Charcadet train, allowing it to further master its abilities. All of a sudden, another Pokemon, a Pyroar, shows up, who's bullying the other wild Pokemon. Together, Ash and Charcadet stand their ground, causing the Pyroar to retreat. Ash is happy for Charcadet, as it now can protect its friends. But Charcadet wants to become even stronger, and decides to come with the world champion. And so, Ash catches his first ever Paldean Pokemon. Ash and Liko continue their trek to Artisan, when all of a sudden, a giant shadow overtakes them. Liko looks up to see a giant airship, with a young man on the top, waving to her. Liko recognizes him, utterly shocked. The airship lands, and the man alongside a boy come off of it. Liko introduces Ash to Freed, a Pokemon professor who once studied under her mom. He introduces himself in the Brave Olivine, the fastest airship in the world. He's dedicated his life to discovering the mysteries of the Pokemon world, alongside his partner, Captain Pikachu. The young boy also introduces himself. It's Roy. He's actually a student at the Academy participating in his treasure hunt. He actually wants to be a treasure hunter himself, and wants to live a life of freedom just like Freed. So he's decided to team up with him as a sort of pseudo-student. He also has a partner Pokemon of his own, being Fuecoco. Liko remarks that Freed isn't doing his professor duties, but Freed tells Liko that this is something way more important, as it actually relates to her late grandmother. This piques Liko's interest, and Freed tells them to follow him. Together, the group make their way to a nearby lighthouse, one of Liko's grandmother's labs. Freed tells the group that Diana was once an adventurer, and was researching the ancient kingdom of Paldea, which existed over 1,000 years ago. Hearing this, even Terapagos starts to become intrigued, which makes sense, considering Diana was once his trainer. The group makes their way towards the lab, encountering hostile wild Pokemon, with Liko and Roy showing off their own battling styles, with Roy having a singing battling style which even catches Ash's eye. After this, the group investigates the lab, finding a giant crystal inside and a note saying that she's hidden 4 of these crystals all across the land. And where all 4 intersect, answers lie. Everyone is super curious about this, and Freed and Roy decide they'll keep up their research. However, before Freed can leave, Ash requests a battle against him. It's Charizard versus Charcadet. Despite being a new catch, Ash's Charcadet is doing a number on Charizard, but things take a turn when Freed terastallizes the Pokemon into a Dark type, ravaging the battlefield and gaining the upper hand. Liko is shocked that Ash could lose, as he's pretty much been unstoppable up to this point, but Ash just turns to Charcadet, saying they'll have to keep on growing. Freed and Roy bid the duo farewell, with Roy saying next time they meet, Liko and him should battle. Liko isn't fully confident she's strong enough for that yet, but agrees to it in the end. After this, the student and teacher end up running into a girl who's slouched over and hungry. They help her out and she introduces herself as Dot, with her partner Pokemon being Quaxly. Ash asks her why she was out here all alone without any food, and Dot says a group of wild Pokemon stole her supplies, and she lacks a lot of physical strength and really wasn't able to do anything on her own. Ash is really relieved that they found her when they did, and Liko swears something about the girl is familiar. After this, Dot asks if she could stay with them for the night, at least until they reach another Pokemon Center. And of course, Ash and Liko agree. Later that night, Liko wakes up to find Dot missing. She finds her and Quaxly staring at a lake, holding a piece of cloth. When she walks over, she finds out it's none other than a part of Nidothing's mask. Liko, blushing, asks Dot why she has that, and Dot is shocked to learn that Liko watched her during her time as a streamer. Being the superfan she is, Liko asks Dot why she quit, but the trainer doesn't say, only responding with she wasn't good enough. Liko can tell it wouldn't be a good idea to pry anymore, and instead tells Dot that from now on, they should be friends. Dot says there's nothing outstanding about her, that Liko would just be wasting her time. I mean, the only reason she's being so nice to her is because she was once Nidothing. But Liko doesn't care. She tells Dot it wouldn't matter if she was Nidothing or not. She wants to know her. Dot is taken aback by this, and looks over to see that Sprigatito and Quaxly have become quick friends, and so the two agree to become companions from now on. From a distance, Ash looks on, smiling. The next morning, Dot asks the two if she can come along with them, and of course they agree, adding a new member to their group. From this point on, it's on to Artisan, and it's all about training. Dot is revealed to be an exceptionally good battler for someone not interested in the gym challenge. Her team of Quaxly and Tinkatink are quite formidable, giving Liko an exceptional challenge in preparation for her next gym battle. Ash also uses this time to train up Charcadet, as he wants to help it grow as strong as it wishes to be. Liko and Dot also become a lot closer, opening up more about their doubts, feelings, and overall goals. As Dot tells Liko she just wants to find something she's really good at, something that makes her shine all on her own. Liko also becomes comfortable enough around Dot to introduce her to Terapagos, who she quickly falls in love with. From the shadows, Spinel continues to scout out the enemy, specifically focusing on their biggest threat, Ash Ketchum. Anyways, it's time for Liko's second gym battle, as they finally reach Artisan, meeting the Grass-type gym leader, Brassius. He tells Liko he looks forward to what kind of art piece their battle will bring about, to which Liko responds with enthusiasm. Just like her fight against Katie, she uses Wattrel and Sprigatito, while Brassius uses Smoliv and Sudowoodo. Wattrel is able to make quick work of Brassius' first Pokemon due to its aerial advantage, but his ace absolutely desolates the flying type, which in turn leads to a climactic clash between Sprigatito and Sudowoodo. Sprigatito uses its speed to its advantage, but Sudowoodo is precise, tracking the Pokemon's trajectory and landing critical hits. In a moment of determination, Sprigatito stands back up, learning Magical Leaf. Ash and Dot are ecstatic, while Brassius realizes he can't go easy on her. This leads to a terrestrial clash, both showcasing the raw power of the grass Tera type. It's a head-on clash between Tera Blast and Magical Leaf, but in the end, Liko and Sprigatito take the win. Liko is super happy. Not only did she learn a new move with Sprigatito, but also is one step closer to becoming strong enough to protect Terapagos. Speaking of which, the little guy is becoming more and more enthralled with battling by the second. Brassius tells Liko she earned this win, and now to make her way to Levincia for her next badge. Liko is on a high, and is absolutely determined to make her way through the rest of the Paldean Gym Challenge. But hearing the name of their next destination, Dot becomes hesitant, and a little upset. Meanwhile, in an undisclosed location, Spinel meets up with two of the other knights of the round, Coral and Sidian. He informs the two he's called them out here because he's in need of their help. The world champion is far too strong for him to deal with alone, but they don't need to defeat him, only distract him. Spinel tells them the girl is progressing at a good pace, but it's nothing he can't deal with. He wants them to separate the two when the time is right, and then snatch Terapagos. Coral is reluctant but decides the thrill of battle is enough to convince her, while Sidian joins in as he's entirely loyal to the future king of Paldea. As this is going on, we see the Violet Knight meet with his butler, Hamber, who tells him he needs to become stronger, and so asks Hamber to train him in Miraidon to master terastallization. To make things even more interesting, Roy and Freed stumble upon another one of Diana's secret labs, reading documents which state that a dominion of Paldea's ancient king, Lucius, lays dormant somewhere in Paldea, awaiting the day the king's best friend will return to hear his final message. The two are confused, but decide to keep seeking out the four crystals, making sure to link them together to find out what exactly Diana discovered. With the group heading towards Levincia, it's back to training. However, it's here where a loud yell is heard. It's the Mona, who tells Liko she got super hyped watching her train and that her strength has reached new heights. And so naturally, it's battle time. Liko and the Mona have a 2v2, Wattrel and Sprigatito versus Rockruff and Pawmot. Rockruff takes care of Wattrel, but Sprigatito delivers powerful blows with Magical Leaf to take it down. This leaves just the two aces, and it's right to terastallization. The Mona isn't holding anything back. There's just something about Liko which lights a spark in her. In the end, the Mona is just way stronger and ends up taking the win. She tells Liko to keep at it, and that they'll battle again. She also turns to Ash, telling him that she eagerly awaits the day the two can duke it out, with neither of them holding anything back. From there, it's just more training until they finally arrive at Levincia. Ash is in awe of how technologically advanced it is, with Liko telling him it's the tech hub of the entire region. Just then, a live stream starts. It's the gym leader Iono, streaming one of her gym matches. This gets Ash and Liko excited, while Dot seems to be becoming increasingly upset. All of a sudden, a man comes running up to Dot, hugging her. He introduces himself as Murdoch, Dot's uncle, and offers the group to stay at his place while they're in Levincia. He also turns to Dot, saying he's sure her sister would be thrilled to see her. But Dot isn't so positively receptive. Murdoch leads the trio back to a bakery, his business. He reveals to them he actually went to cooking school with Katie, and the two were even rivals back in the day. Ash and Liko try out some of Murdoch's famous treats, absolutely loving them. Dot also has some, reminding her of home. All of a sudden, things change when none other than Iono walks in, and seeing Dot, she runs up to her, pulling the girl in for a tight hug. It's revealed here that Iono is Dot's older sister. She tells her little sis that she seems to be doing well. I mean, she's traveling with the world champion. She also loves that she's made some genuine friends, and that Quaxley looks like he's doing awesome. Iono then tells Dot she should come on stream with her, but Dot lashes out, saying at this point she's just rubbing it in her face. Dot rushes out of the bakery, and Iono is confused, with Murdoch having a somber look on his face. He tells Iono to go back to the gym, that he's got this covered. And so, wanting to give her sister space, the Levincia gym leader leaves. Murdoch explains that when Dot and Iono were very young, they lost their mother to an illness, so he's taken care of them since childhood. Dot always looked up to her big sis, but as time went on, Iono's ability to excel in almost everything made her jealous, which has led to a divide between the two. Liko and Ash can't believe it, and the former rushes out of the bakery, determined to find her friend. Liko eventually finds Dot out in the city streets, and it's here where Dot reveals the true reason she quit streaming. You see, Nidothing was the one thing she was good at. Her sister may have been the better battler, the more sociable one. Everything Dot wasn't. But when she put that costume on, it didn't matter. Streaming was her specialty. But Iono just had to start it up herself. She streamed her gym battles and quickly surpassed Dot. And she just couldn't handle it. That's the real reason why Dot left. Liko comforts her friend, saying that she needs to make up with her sister. And Dot agrees. She says that before she didn't have the confidence to. But thanks to Liko and Ash, she's ready. Dot makes her way to the gym, telling Iono how she feels. Iono is actually shocked. She was legitimately clueless about all of it, and starts to apologize, saying she never wanted to hurt her, that she just started streaming because she wanted to share a hobby with her beloved little sister. The two make up, but Dot still isn't fully satisfied and says she wants a battle. And so the two have a one-on-one battle, with all of Levincia and the world watching via Iono's stream. It's Quaxley versus Luxray. The battle is intense, neither giving in to the other. Luxray has fierce attacks, but Quaxley's small size allows it to dodge a ton of the opponent's attacks. Eventually, Ash and Murdoch rush over to the gym, and together Liko and Ash cheer their friend on. And with their support, Dot and Quaxley have the resilience to keep going. In a moment of determination, Quaxley is enveloped in a bright light, evolving into Quaxwell. Everyone is in awe, and with its newfound strength, it delivers far more powerful blows, giving Luxray a super hard time despite having the type advantage. The battle ends with a clash between Wild Charge and Aqua Type. A giant explosion occurs, and when the smoke clears, both Pokemon have gone down, ending the battle in a draw. Iono and Dot are finally on the same page, with the latter deciding that she'll be returning to streaming, but not as Nidothing. She won't hide behind a mask any longer. She'll be herself. Murdoch is basically bawling his eyes out at this point, happy to see the two of them so happy with each other. Iono then takes notice of Liko, and after learning she's a gym challenger, gets hyped up for their battle. Liko then learns Iono's gym battle is a 3-on-3, and honestly doesn't know what to do because she only has 2 Pokemon. But it's at this point where Terapagos reveals itself, ready to go all out. And so next time, Liko and Iono will duke it out, with Terapagos joining the fray. Who will win? Find out next time.